officially sailing in the Atlantic Ocean. We haven't talked at all about it, but our plans are to head down to the Bahamas for the winter. And we have made our way through the intercoastal waterway from Baltimore down to Beaufort, North Carolina, and hung out there while Hurricane Nicole cleared through. And then now we have set sail for the Bahamas. So we are currently about 3 or 4 hours outside of Beaufort. And as you can see behind me, Kelly is keeping a very close eye on the horizon to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. She's not feeling the best. It's pretty rough out here, actually. The seas are pretty rocky. There's a lot of chop and big, huge swales, and then just some chop and all that. So it's a little rough. It's not as bad as it was back at the inlet, but it's still pretty bad. We got the head sail out only, making about 6.5 knots, and the head sail definitely made a big difference. 6 knots, 6.5 knots, but she's watching the horizon. She's got some medicine on, so that hopefully that helps and sets in and improves the situation. But yeah, that's it. We're moving. It's beautiful out here. The winds are supposed to clock around and be basically right on our beam or directly behind us the whole day. It's about 15 knots of wind, and we're cruising. It's good stuff out here. So, what do you think, lady? She doesn't. Saga continues. We are hammering along. We're moving almost 7 knots, sometimes getting up into 8 knots whenever we're riding down the waves, and we are just pounding into these waves. Some of them are up in the 8 or 9 feet, I think. That was what our forecaster was saying, and they're definitely pretty big, and it's just a sloppy mess. Just chop, just like none of the waves are coming from the same direction, so you're just bouncing all over the place. Kelly made a donation to the ocean, which was very kind of her. She's providing nutrients to the fish and the algae and everything else that needs nutrients in the form of peppermints. She ate a lot of peppermints this morning, and it was like pink. So she's doing all right. She feels better now that she had that. I got a little queasy there for a bit, so I put a patch on. That's my bling there. And we're just kind of riding along. Both of us just keeping an eye on the horizon and just, monitoring ourselves, and we've discussed how things are going and if we want to keep on going and all that kind of stuff, and we're just leaving options open. We're going to keep pushing forward to see if the sea state improves. But yeah, that's the situation. You can see behind me what's going on with the bow. It's wild out here right now, so it's a rowdy ride. Good morning to you. We are on day 3 of our Atlantic passage down to the Bahamas, and it's been day 3 of rowdiness, just absolute crazy all along. All 3 days have been madness. Let me, Kelly's trying to get down below. See if I can help her out. Here, stand somewhere safe. Get her clipped in. You coming down?
No, I was just moving my tethers because this one wasn't long enough for me to sit back like this.
Gotcha. But yeah, so day 1, we crossed the Gulf Stream, and that was a mess and just rough as could be, and it was probably, I don't know, every bit of 18 hours of nastiness, and then it calmed down a little bit once we got through the Gulf Stream. And then yesterday, the winds were starting to clock around, but we really kind of were on a pretty tight reach, and it was frustrating because the winds were supposed to start to clock around and come more out of the north so that we could start heading south, and they took a long time to do that. So we ended up having to sail quite a ways offshore. Eventually the winds did clock around. We started to head down to the Bahamas, and that's what we're doing now, and we're almost dead downwind, and there's huge rolling waves coming in behind us, and it's just roly-poly, and it's crazy. I can show you all the madness that's going on down here in the boat. All of our stuff that at one time we had stored is no longer stored. We got our water up there. And this is our head with everything just shoved into the sink right now. But all in all, we're surviving. Our 2 night shifts, we've done 2 night shifts so far. Those have gone well. We've done a good job of kind of switching on and off. For right about 3 hours is what we get. We both just kind of slept in the cockpit just so it's easier for people to get access in case they need help with something or whatever else. So that's how we've handled that. And right now I'm making some tea. We haven't really had a whole lot to eat because it's not been fun to cook down here, but we're making do.
Or eating has not been fun.
Eating's not been fun for Kelly, so she's still feeling queasy. So keeping an eye on the horizon. But yeah, right now I'm making us some tea this morning, and it's looking like we're gonna arrive at our destination Wednesday morning. That's kind of how we're looking in terms of our ETA on the fancy electronics package. So I'm excited to get to land. I do have to say that cruising in the modern times is pretty fantastic. We have both this morning and yesterday been able to call our parents and check in and talk about how things are going out here, and we've been able to share our location so that they can have an idea of where we are, and just, it's a totally different world. I mean, whenever my family did our trip, you know, whatever it was, back in 98 to 2000, we didn't have any of that. We were able to call home with a ham radio, but it required 3 different intermediaries to do it. Nowadays, we just flip up the antenna on our smartphone, dial in, and then, or on our sat phone, dial in, and then that's it. We can just chat with everybody. It makes a big difference being out here. It makes you feel connected. We're currently 200 miles offshore, and we're still connected to the world around. We haven't seen hardly any other boats. There's a shipping vessel that's over this ways, and that's it. Otherwise, it's just kind of us out here. But whenever you can actually talk to the family and still stay connected to everybody, it makes you feel good, I have to say.
Ew!
Smells like a dead fish.
Ew, no! What is it?
That's a flying fish right there.
Oh.
That's the first one I found. I'm gonna go check the other deck too, but I was kind of surprised we hadn't had any hit the boat yet. Now we actually found one.
Oh, I can smell it.
Yeah, it smells like dead fish.
Ew.
Good evening to you. We are partway through our 3rd day. We're moving into the evening of our 3rd day out here at sea, and things are going well. Kelly's feeling better than she had been. She's still a little queasy, but she's definitely feeling better. And we both just got showers and washed up, and I'm about to prepare some dinner. Because we're out at sea, we really kind of have to go gourmet, and we're just doing bagged pasta. It's easy. 1 pot, no worries. Calories is really all that we need right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is making us some dinner, and then we're going to eat that out in the cockpit, and then ease into the evening as we start to work through our night shifts and all that. Last night, we had a few storms that we had to kind of jockey around. There were some that were moving through. One of them passed right in front of us. The other one was kind of coming from behind us, and then ended up basically coasting up our port side, left side of the boat, and just kept on going. But they had lightning in them, so we were trying to steer clear of those. So I saw a couple of little storm cells around, and I'm going to keep an eye on those, and I think most of them are going to avoid us. But it's always good to just kind of keep an eye on it, because we don't really want to have to deal with that. If we got to move a few degrees over to the west side or whatever we got to do to avoid it, then I'm more than happy to lose that little bit of time. But we are hammering along. Right now, it's like 4 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon, and we have already gone 120 miles. So we've got another 8 hours of daylight left. And we've already done 120 miles, so we are really booking it. Right now, we've got the engine running to charge the batteries, because the solar, it's been real cloudy and there's a lot of shading on it right now, so it hasn't been topping them up, so we have to run the engine at night to keep those charged up. And it's got us pushing right now. We'll slump down to about 6.5 knots in the bottom of the trough of a wave, but then as it starts to pick us up, we'll get up into 9 or 10 knots. Surfing down, there's 8.5 knots. So we're booking it for sure, which is great, because that means we're covering a lot of ground, and we're going to get there very soon. I got to get to cooking though. How's it going out here?
It's going.
Yeah?
The horizon hasn't moved yet. I had my eye on it the whole time.
Close inspection of that horizon.
Can't let it disappear.
Nope, under a very watchful eye.
Mm-hmm.
How's the sunset look behind us?
The sunset's beautiful. The sunset is all around that storm over there, so let's avoid that. And then there's another storm over to that side as well. But overall, it looks good out here. Minus all the gross seasickness.
Yeah.
But this is where I live right now. I've been an outdoor cat.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little bit weird that like we have not moved from our 2 spots that we sit on. I'll go sit behind her for a little while during the day, but otherwise, I sit on the high side, she sits on the low side, and that's kind of it. It's just part of life. Whenever you're on a passage, you just kind of sit tight.
I gotta do what I gotta do to like keep everything under control.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try like my first legitimate food tonight. So.
Food?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Legitimate food.
Yeah.
I've been eating crackers, and when I say crackers, I mean like I don't know what it is.
Ritz crackers.
Like a pack this long. It's meant to be a single serving. It took me like 2 days to make it through that. So.
Yeah. So we're gonna get some real food in. Try some pasta. Actually, I think it's rice and pasta combined. So it'll be a good mixture.
It's dry stuff that you dump out of a pouch into boiling water.
Yeah. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
It'll be a nice change of pace.
Yeah. Exactly.
It'll be
Exactly.
wet crackers.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check on the pasta.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Fun little story, I made Kelly some tea and me some coffee yesterday morning whenever we got up, and I was trying to use the pot, and as you saw a second ago with me trying to pour the water out of the gallon jugs into the measuring cup, it's like you're chasing a measuring cup around as you're doing it. I did that while I was trying to pour it out of the pot into Kelly's teacup, and it went everywhere. It scalded the crap out of my hand. It was just like dumping boiling water. It's like I was torturing myself, so I had to fight through it. I got it about 3/4 full, and that's as far as I could get. I couldn't keep going any further because it just was too painful. But it's not easy living out here on the ocean. I'll say that. It's definitely a change of pace from being tucked into an anchorage and being able to cook a gourmet meal where we can spread everything out. Now it's just 2 things you add to a pot, boil it, you're done, eat it, go to bed.